Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Now, you hardcore Dave Ramsey listeners just noticed a change. Some of you, it drove past you and you didn't notice it, but some of you are like, what just happened? Well, occasionally in business, occasionally in radio, something special occurs. And this is a very special thing that has happened. It began in March of last year. It began years before that because as a debit card user, I have been pissed off at rent-a-car companies for decades because they treat us like second-class citizens. And forever, I have thought if a rent-a-car company would finally get the memo that those of us that have debit cards are, by and large, better risks than those of you that are deeply in debt with a credit card when we rent your dadgum car. So I took this call last March. Let's play it. Well, different car companies they move around so much on their policies, we can't keep up with them. We've actually been trying to get one or two of them to just say, we'll just take a debit card because then we could advertise for them. Tell 15 million people that you could go to a certain brand, it'd be valuable to them. But none of them have been able to figure that out yet. So I don't know today who takes them and who doesn't. There's always somebody that does and there's always somebody that doesn't. I got tired of chasing them, begging them to offer debit cards and do the right thing. If one of you are listening that is an executive with a rent-a-car company, here's a hint. I'll tell 15 million people to use your service if you will accept a debit card and quit penalizing people who actually have a brain and got rid of all their credit cards and use a debit card. People like me. Well, that was fairly plain, fairly easy to understand. So a guy named James is driving along listening to the radio. He lives in Fort Myers, Florida. He happens to be married to Susan Jacobs, who is the Senior Vice President of Brands for Dollar Car Rental. She is in a meeting while I'm saying that with some of her senior executives in the Hertz Corporation, which owns Dollar Car Rental. And her husband is frantically texting her and sending her the clip of the audio in the text saying, you think you guys ought to look at this? Because he's a big Dave fan, of course. And so the weird thing was we ended up connecting with Dollar because of that. And Susan Jacobs, the Senior Vice President of Brands, married to James, came here and with her team. And we sat down, and we've had several sit-down conversations with them here in our offices since March. And they heard us loud and clear that you guys that carry debit cards don't need to be treated like second-class citizens when wanting to rent a car. And Dollar Car Rental is not only a wonderful company, but they've got some very creative team members and executives and leadership team, and they do it. They're just nice people. We got to know some of the senior people, the chief marketing officers and so forth in this process. And all we were asking them to do was to say, hey, take a debit card and don't mistreat us, which they immediately went, oh, we get the memo, but we want to go further than that. We want to do all kinds of stuff for Dave Ramsey listeners, and we want to sponsor like some of your stuff. How can we do that? And we said, well, we're sold out, but we'll let you sponsor the studio. So we ended up doing that, and so I'm now sitting in the Dollar Car Rental studio. 28 years I've been doing radio, and we've never sold a sponsorship for the studio, and now we have a sponsorship for the studio. But that's a sidebar thing. Oh, and there's other stuff that's coming later, but for today, we're ready to announce that Dollar Car Rental loves you. You Dave people, they love you. They want to treat you like first-class citizens if you use a debit card for your car rental. If you rent a car from Dollar Car Rental, all you need is a debit card, a driver's license, to be 20 years old. Now, you got to have $200 in the bank because there's always a hold put on a debit card, just like when you check into a hotel, same there, same kind of thing. That's a normal deal to hold the cost of your rental car. And they don't do a credit check. They don't hold one of your children in the vault. They don't point a gun at your face and question you as if you are a spy from another planet. You simply walk up with a debit card, a driver's license, you're 20 years old, you have $200 in the bank. Bingo! You rented a car! Touchdown! Like a regular person! Wow! It's amazing! I love this! And it was a pretty incredible thing. The way this all came together off of that little mini rant I did, which I've done extended rants on debit cards with credit card, with all kinds of mistreatment that we debit card users get. But the rent-a-car companies were the worst, right? Not anymore. Don't get to a city and wonder if your debit card will work because you didn't do business with Dollar. I am so wholeheartedly endorsing this company. Why? Because they completely changed all of their policies in the last 6 months in order for me to do this today. I mean, they molded this program for you people that are listening and that are following the stuff we teach and don't have a credit card. This is pretty cool. No credit check. You just have a debit card. You walk up with your driver's license and you're 20 years old and you have $200 in your account. That's it. That's all you got to do. It's amazing. Now, make sure when you're doing this that you tell them where you heard about it, that you're a Dave Ramsey fan, and this is the reason I was going to do business with one of those other brands that I'm not going to mention. But now, because you're going to treat a debit card user like a first-class citizen, we're going to do business with you. Here's a better part of this, though. It gets better. It's just hard to believe it gets better, but it gets better. If you sign up for the Dollar Express Rewards with your debit card, you skip the counter and you go directly to the Dollar Lot. Log on to dollar.com/Ramsey, dollar.com/Ramsey. Join the Dollar Express Rewards. Even if you're not going to travel today, go ahead and get this all set up. And it puts you one step ahead. It lets them know you're a Ramsey fan because you joined Dollar Express Rewards at dollar.com/Ramsey. You walk past the counter into the parking lot and drive off with a car. This is amazing. I mean, you got this kind of service with credit cards with some of the other people, but those of us that have had debit cards, I haven't had a credit card in 30 years, and I'm 30 years worth of pissed off at being mistreated. And so I'm 30 years worth of celebrating right now that this is awesomeness. Not only is it awesomeness because I actually found a company that has a leadership team that cares so much as a huge company that they pivoted their entire operation to where you can walk in and take your debit card in there today. That was a big deal. They got the memo from you folks that you wanted this. And from me, I spoke for you, so don't let me down. Go to Dollar Express, go to dollar.com/Ramsey and sign up for the Dollar Express Rewards. But anytime you're doing business with Dollar Car Rental, you're gonna love the experience. These are great people, but be sure and say, I did this because of you people listening to what Dave was saying on the radio and changing. This is good corporate culture right here. This is actually when business works right, when they listen to the customer and change stuff. This is amazing. I love it. I am now broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios. I'm proud of it, baby. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.